Delia Parker-Mims, chair of the Denton County Democratic Party, the best county party in the state of Texas, and I'm here with Sarah Eckhardt. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Running for state comptroller, and you ran out the primary, right? You came out unscathed, and you're are going to be our Democratic candidate for the state comptroller, and we're going to talk with you a little bit about what that means so that people can understand why that's an important position. But first, tell us a little about who you are, Sarah Eckhardt, and your background. I'm looking at your material here, and it looks like you're an attorney.
I am.
So tell me a little bit about where your background is.
So my background is I'm a long-serving public servant. I started out in local government. Started straight out of law school, and I got a master's in public affairs from the LBJ School in public finance, tax policy, etc. And then went straight to work for the county. I was prosecutor for a while, and then I ran for county commissioner. And then after a bit, where I felt confident that I was fully qualified, I ran for county judge and was the chief executive over a major metropolitan county with more than 1 million people and more than a $1 billion budget.
Okay. And then did you go to law school after that?
No, actually, I went to law school and got my master's in public affairs before I went to work for the county.
Okay.
And so I was with the county for 22 years before I decided to run for state government because, as we were talking before, I saw that state government, frankly, was preventing a lot of the innovations that we were trying to make at the county level to build prosperity for every resident.
You know, that's interesting that you say that. You're basically saying that the state level was just interfering, and I hear a lot of the state level people saying that they appreciate the local control, but they really don't, do they?
Oh, no. They don't at all appreciate local control. And frankly, it's a sick relationship because the state is reliant on what local governments are doing for the people of the state of Texas. Local governments are really what is producing actual prosperity and services for the people of the state of Texas. The state government produces very little of that.
Right.
And then when local governments make the sacrifices to do that, the state then punishes those local governments. So that was a big reason for me to go to the state.
Right.
And now I have a similar motive for wanting to move to a statewide office because, frankly, I hear my colleagues often say that they are conservative.
Right.
And yet I am seeing behavior that is far from conservative with regard to our tax dollars.
That's true, and that first point that you made is critically important, and it certainly applies in our county, which I want to make it crystal clear. A lot of our local Republicans enjoy saying that they like local control, but yet they vote for local people for state government that do not support local control, and that's exactly what you're saying. At the state level, they don't support local control, but you do. So let's talk about what the state comptroller does and how you envision it working. So what exactly does the state comptroller do?
So most people think that the state comptroller just takes orders from the governor's office and writes checks. But actually, that's not at all what the state comptroller does under the Texas Constitution. Under the Texas Constitution, the state comptroller is very intentionally a separate elected official. And the reason for that is the state comptroller manages our money. The state comptroller makes sure that our money is invested in us. And when our Texas legislature, whether it's the legislative branch or frankly another executive, like the governor, when the legislative or the executive branch squanders our money, is doing something that is not paying dividend for Texans, the comptroller's office, it's the comptroller's responsibility to raise a red flag and report out to the people of Texas who's benefiting most, who's benefiting least, and who may be benefiting not at all.
Well, let me ask you this. With that being said, would it actually be possible to work best if the state comptroller and the governor were actually in different parties?
Yes, I'm so glad you raised that, Delia. And to the viewer, she did not get queued up to say that. That's like the question. 30 years of one-party rule have made it a circumstance, a breeding ground, frankly, for at least inefficiency, if not outright corruption. And we cannot expect a Republican comptroller to be able to call out their own party successfully. What we've seen in this, the big boys at the top, is retribution is very swift, even on their own party members, when someone raises a red flag. We saw that in the Paxton impeachment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, really, frankly, while you're not going to hear Republicans say this, my Republican colleagues would breathe a sigh of relief to have a Democrat comptroller. It would give them cover to do the right thing.
Ah, I see. So it kind of goes to what we're seeing at the national level when we see that the at the national level where the president is saying there's going to be grave consequences if you don't vote the way I want. At the state level, if everyone in state office is of the same party, they're doing the same thing and we're not getting information out. Kind of like the governor doesn't want statistics out regarding health care, what's happening to women, those are not getting out. But if you were state comptroller in a different party, you'd be able to freely provide more access to information to the public.
Absolutely. So imagine a comptroller, and this is completely within the statutory and constitutional authority of the Texas comptroller. Imagine a comptroller who honestly reports out a audited Texas voucher program with reliable statistics on who's benefiting most, least, and not at all.
And how it's affecting our public schools.
Exactly. And that's who would be not benefiting at all, right?
Right.
Imagine a Texas comptroller completely within their authority being able to calculate how our health costs are going up because we refused to expand Medicaid and the U.S. Congress refused to extend the ACA tax credits. Imagine a comptroller who blows the whistle when the big boys in charge are handing out no-bid contracts and corporate tax breaks that can be traced immediately back to campaign contributions.
Right. Right.
So
That's very important.
these are important things, and that is what our comptroller is supposed to do. This is not a gotcha game. This is not a political retribution machinery. This is just what you should expect from a transparent government.
Right. Now, does this comptroller have anything to do with public contracts in terms of women-owned businesses or veteran-owned businesses and those type
Delia,
of contracts?
you are speaking my language. One of the programs that the current acting comptroller was directed to dismantle by the big boys at the top was the 30-year historically underutilized business program. And let me describe what that is. Because as a county judge back in the day, I put together an enforceable, historically underutilized business program in our county.
Right.
So that all county contracts that went to bid would also have a robust outreach to women and minority-owned businesses that were qualified so that they could compete on a level playing field and win contracts. And that's all it is. It's not a quota system. It's to make sure that every qualified business, including women and minority-owned businesses, have a fair shot at government contracts.
And that includes veterans-owned as well.
It includes disabled
Disabled veterans-owned businesses, and all of those are included in those that have been encouraged to get rid of and dismantle. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true. And so we've had a state program for the last 30 years, and it has been dismantled by the acting the acting comptroller under orders from the big boys at the top so that he could look more MAGA.
So who's the acting right now?
Kelly Hancock.
And why are they acting? What happened to the comptroller?
The previous comptroller, Glenn Hager, took a job with A&M University. And so Kelly Hancock, who's a state senator, I served with him, he resigned his post and took a position as the acting comptroller.
Okay. So all in all, you've served on the county level. You've currently been you're a senator currently. How many years have you been in the state legislature?
6 years.
6 years. So you have a plethora of county and state experience. You're an attorney. You have a background in public policy and finance. it sounds to me like you have a completely well-rounded package to be a comptroller, and it would certainly serve to boot to be a Democrat in that position, in a position where you may actually end up being the opposite party of our governor. So I certainly hope to see you in that position one day.
I know that we can win this, and let me tell you why, Delia. I won more votes in the Democratic primary than any other contested Democrat, and I won 120,000 more primary votes in the Democratic primary than Don Huffines won in the Republican primary.
That's amazing.
So this is a race that we will end one party rule with this race, and we can all breathe a sigh of relief, Republicans and Democrats, because one party rule is not healthy for us. It's certainly not healthy for us from an economic perspective.
It certainly is not. What is that saying? When you have total power, it corrupts absolutely. Absolute
Yes,
power.
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And that's something that is not good for any of us Texans. We should understand that policy decision, that idea.
Yeah, government is for a prosperity we can all build on, not just people who are in the right party or the right religion or the right race or the right neighborhood.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming to the Denton County Convention and talking to us about what the state comptroller does. You are certainly well qualified, and I look forward to checking that box with your name on it in November, and we appreciate seeing you, and good luck in November. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Delia.